The doctor closes the exam room door. He doesn't sit in the rolling chair. He pulls up the stool, the one that puts him at eye level, the one they use when they need to deliver bad news. His face has that particular arrangement of muscles I've seen before, at my father's hospice bedside, at the vet's office when they explained there was nothing more they could do. "Mr. Hayes," he says, and his voice is too gentle. The fetal heartbeat is strong, but you need to understand something. This pregnancy timeline means you were in Boston when conception occurred. The air leaves the room. He slides the ultrasound printout across the desk. The thermal paper is still warm, curling slightly at the edges. 8 weeks, it says. 8 weeks ago, I was 3,000 miles away, debugging code in a hotel room that smelled like industrial carpet cleaner, eating takeout Chinese at midnight, because I'd promised Rachel I'd finish the project early. I'd promised I'd come home. "I've been doing this for 23 years, Dr. Morrison continues. "I needed you to know before she controls the narrative." The nurse, Jessica, her name tag says, slides out of the room without making eye contact. Through the door, I can hear the waiting room, full of happy couples holding hands, rubbing pregnant bellies, arguing about baby names. I thank him. I shake his hand. I walk to my car like a normal person, like someone whose entire reality hasn't just shifted 1 degree to the left, enough that nothing lines up anymore. In the parking lot, I open the envelope, the one I found this morning in Rachel's gym bag, the one she'd tucked inside her yoga mat carrier, the one with Marcus's handwriting on the front. "For when you're ready." Inside, there's a hotel key card. The Meridian, downtown, room 447, and a note. "Tonight, he'll be at his sister's until 10. My hands don't shake. That surprises me. I thought they would shake. If you've ever had a moment where your entire reality shifted in one sentence, you'll understand what came next. Drop "I understand" if you've been there. I don't go home. Not yet. Instead, I drive to the parking garage where we keep Rachel's SUV during the week. She takes the train to her office, says it's better for the environment. I've always admired that about her. The way she thinks about things beyond herself. The spare key is in my wallet. It's always been in my wallet. "For emergencies," she said. I'm not sure what this counts as. Her coat is in the back seat. The good one, the black wool that makes her look like she belongs in a corner office. I check the pockets the way you check your own pockets, without really thinking about it. And my fingers find something that shouldn't be there. A phone. Not her phone. A phone that's lighter than hers, cheap plastic, no case, the kind you buy with cash at a convenience store when you need something that won't show up on a family plan. It has no lock. She never thought I'd find it. The messages go back 11 months. 11 months of, "I miss you," and "When can we meet?" and "He's at a conference until Thursday." 11 months of hotel rooms and lunch breaks that ran long and business dinners I never questioned because I trusted her. I trusted her the way you trust gravity, the way you trust that the sun will rise. Completely. Without reservation. Marcus's texts are there too. Marcus, who was my business partner until 2 years ago, until he dissolved our company and took half our clients with him. Marcus, who Rachel said I was being paranoid about, who she said I needed to forgive, who came to our house for dinner last month and complimented my cooking. "Can't wait to tell him tonight," the last message reads, sent this morning at 6:47 a.m. "He'll understand. He always does." The phone makes a sound when I take screenshots, soft, mechanical. I replace it exactly where I found it, zipping the pocket, smoothing the fabric. The second phone had no lock. She never thought I'd find it. I do go home eventually. It's 3:30, and Emma's bus drops her off at 3:45. Emma, 5 years old, blonde hair that's always escaping from whatever style Rachel attempts, a gap between her front teeth, a laugh that sounds like bubbles popping. Not mine, not biologically. Rachel's daughter from before we met, from a relationship she doesn't talk about, with a man who wanted nothing to do with fatherhood. I've been her dad for 5 years, the only dad she remembers. I find her drawing on the refrigerator, held up by the magnet shaped like a strawberry that we bought at the farmer's market. My family, it says across the top in careful kindergarten letters. There are 3 figures, one tall, one small, one with 4 legs and a tail. Daniel, Emma, and Mr. Whiskers, the cat. Rachel is not in the picture. I photograph it. I don't know why yet, but I photograph it. Inside the folder from Emma's backpack, the purple one with the unicorn patch, there's a school assignment. My wishes, the header says. Mrs. Patterson has written, "Beautiful work, Emma," in red pen at the top. Most of the wishes are what you'd expect. I wish for a puppy. I wish I could fly. I wish for pizza every day. But the last one is different. The pencil marks are heavier here, like she pressed down hard, like she meant it more than the others. I wish Daniel could be my real dad forever, because he stays. Other kids' dads leave, but mine came to every doctor visit, even for small things. The paper is thin where she erased love twice before spelling it right. I sit down on the kitchen floor, right there on the tile, with the folder in my lap and Mr. Whiskers winding between my legs, and I let myself feel it, all of it. The ultrasound, the phone, Marcus, the baby that isn't mine, the betrayal that's been happening in parallel to my life, like a second movie playing on a screen I couldn't see. And Emma who wrote that I stay. Emma's drawing of my family has 3 figures, me, her, and the cat. Rachel comes home at 6:15. She's glowing. That's what they call it, right? That pregnant glow. She looks beautiful and happy and like someone I don't know at all. How was your day? She asks, kissing my cheek. She smells like her jasmine perfume, the expensive one, the one she saves for special occasions. Good, I say, productive. You? Exhausting. She drops her bag by the door, rubs her stomach. But worth it. I have something to tell you tonight, after Emma goes to bed. I can't wait, I tell her, and I mean it. I make dinner, chicken parmesan, Emma's favorite. We eat together at the kitchen table like we always do, like a normal family, while Rachel tells us about her day. The edited version, I assume, the one without Marcus, and Emma shows us a painting she made at school. It's a sunset, Emma explains, but with purple because Mrs. Patterson said we could use whatever colors we wanted, and I like purple better than orange. It's perfect, Rachel says. It's beautiful, I agree, and I mean that too. After dinner, I do the dishes while Rachel gives Emma a bath. I can hear them laughing upstairs, water splashing, Emma singing some song from a movie I've seen 47 times. Normal sounds, home sounds. I dry my hands on the dish towel, the one that says happiness is homemade, that Rachel's mother gave us, and I go to our bedroom. In the bottom drawer of my nightstand, in the box where I keep important papers, there's a cocktail napkin. It's yellowed now. 7 years of moisture and time softening the edges, but the words are still clear. We don't leave, it says, written in Rachel's handwriting during our engagement party when we were drunk on champagne and each other and the future. No matter what, we don't leave. I put it in my pocket. From the closet, I pull down 2 suitcases, one large, one small. I pack methodically, clothes, toiletries, chargers, my laptop, documents from the file cabinet, birth certificate, social security card, passport. In Emma's room, I pack her suitcase while Rachel is still in the bathroom. Favorite clothes, Mr. Hops, the stuffed bunny she's slept with since she was 2. Books, her blanket, the soft blue one. I pack like I'm going on a normal trip, like this is something I do every day. On the kitchen counter, I leave the cocktail napkin, the one that says, "We don't leave," written in Rachel's hand. Next to it, I place my wedding ring, white gold, simple band, engraved on the inside with our wedding date. It spins when I set it down, 3 full rotations before settling, catching the overhead light. The ring makes 3 full rotations before settling, white gold catching late sun, the sound like a coin spinning before it falls. I write a note on the pad by the phone. Emma and I are going on an adventure. We'll talk soon. When Emma comes downstairs in her pajamas, hair damp and smelling like strawberry shampoo, I'm waiting by the door with both suitcases. Are we going somewhere? She asks. We are, I tell her. Just you and me, a special trip. What about Mommy? Mommy needs some time to herself, I say, which is true in ways she's too young to understand. Can Mr. Hops come? Mr. Hops is already packed. She grins, gap-toothed and trusting, and takes my hand. We walk out the front door at 8:47 p.m. Rachel is in the living room, on a call, with Marcus probably, planning how to tell me about the baby, about their future, about how they expect me to understand, because I always do. The door closes behind us with a soft click. I packed one suitcase for me, one for Emma, and the folder marked lawyer. Rachel came home to an empty house and my ring spinning on the granite. The Crossroads Motel is 40 minutes away, just over the state line. The kind of place where they don't ask questions if you pay in cash. The room smells like bleach and old carpet, and the bedspread has a pattern that hurts to look at, but it has 2 beds and a door that locks from the inside. Emma bounces on her bed, delighted by the novelty of it. It's like camping, she says. Exactly like camping, I agree, even though we both know it's nothing like camping. I order pizza, pepperoni, her favorite. We eat it sitting cross-legged on the floor, watching cartoons on the ancient TV. Emma doesn't ask why we left. She doesn't ask when we're going back. She's 5. This is an adventure. I'm here. That's all that matters to her. My phone starts ringing at 9:15. Rachel. I don't answer. 9:47. Rachel again. I turn the phone to silent. By 11 p.m., there are 28 missed calls. The texts start coming in waves. Where are you? Daniel, this isn't funny. Emma has school tomorrow. Call me back right now. And then, at 11:34 p.m., the text that tells me everything I need to know. Marcus said you'd do this. Run away like you always do. I should have listened to him. I read it 3 times, Marcus said. Marcus, who knows me well enough to predict my behavior. Marcus, who's been in my life, in my marriage, longer than I realized. I turn off the phone. Emma is asleep by now, Mr. Hops tucked under her arm, breathing soft and even. I sit in the chair by the window, watching the parking lot, watching headlights past on the highway, and I think about the cocktail napkin, the vow. We don't leave. But the thing about vows is they're supposed to run both ways. At 11 p.m., Rachel's text shifted from, "Where are you?" to, "Marcus said you do this. Run away like you always do." Morning comes whether you're ready or not. Emma wakes up at 6:30, the same time she always does, and for about 10 seconds she looks confused, the unfamiliar ceiling, the weird smell, the sound of trucks on the highway instead of birds in our backyard. Then she sees me sitting in the chair, still wearing yesterday's clothes, and she smiles. "Is this still our adventure?" she asks. "It is," I tell her. "Okay." She climbs out of bed, dragging Mr. Hops with her. "Can we have pancakes?" The diner across the street has pancakes. They're mediocre, but Emma drowns hers in syrup and doesn't seem to notice. I drink coffee that tastes like it was brewed yesterday and watch my daughter, because that's what she is, legal paperwork aside, and I think about what comes next. The phone is still off. I know what's waiting for me when I turn it on. More calls, more texts. Maybe the police if Rachel's gotten desperate. But I haven't kidnapped anyone. Emma is mine to take care of, has been for 5 years. I'm on every school form, every medical document, every emergency contact list. But I'm not on her birth certificate, and that's the problem. We need to see someone today, I tell Emma while she's coloring on the paper placemat. A lady who helps people with important things. Like a doctor? Like a lawyer. What's a lawyer? Someone who makes sure everyone follows the rules. Emma considers this, purple crayon in hand. Is mommy not following the rules? Out of the mouths of babes. It's complicated, I say, which is what adults say when they don't want to explain that the world is unfair, and people you love can hurt you, and sometimes staying means teaching your daughter that betrayal is acceptable. Have you ever had to choose between the person you promised to love and the child who actually needs you? Leave promise if you stay for vows. Child if you choose what's right over what's easy. Olivia Santos's office is in a building downtown that's trying very hard to look prestigious. Marble floors, leather chairs, a receptionist who looks like she's never smiled in her life. But Olivia herself is different. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, a handshake that means business. She has a photo on her desk of 2 kids, teenagers, laughing, and that makes me trust her more than any law degree could. Emma sits in the waiting room with the receptionist, who has miraculously produced a box of toys. I can hear Emma's voice through the door, explaining the rules of some elaborate game involving plastic dinosaurs. "Tell me everything," Olivia says, pen ready. So I do. The ultrasound, the second phone, Marcus, the timeline, the affair that's been running parallel to my marriage for almost a year, the baby that isn't mine, the texts, the ring I left spinning on the counter. Olivia takes notes. She doesn't interrupt. She doesn't gasp or look shocked or offer platitudes. She just writes, occasionally asking for clarification, for dates, for documentation. When I'm done, she sets down her pen. "Do you have proof of the affair?" I slide my phone across the desk. The screenshots, all of them, timestamps, GPS data from the hotel, credit card receipts I pulled from our shared account last night while Emma slept, charges at restaurants I've never been to, boutique hotels, a jewelry store. "And Emma," Olivia says. "Tell me about Emma." So I do. 5 years of bedtime stories and school drop-offs and doctor's appointments. 5 years of teaching her to ride a bike and helping with homework and bandaging scraped knees. 5 years of being the one who shows up. I show her the folder I brought, the evidence I didn't know I was collecting. Photographs, hundreds of them. Every school event, every holiday, every ordinary Tuesday. In every single one, I'm there. In most of them, Rachel isn't. School records listing me as the primary contact. Pediatrician records with my signature on every form. The insurance card in my wallet with Emma's name on it. 5 years of tax returns claiming her as my dependent. I adopted her emotionally, I say. I just never made it legal. Olivia studies the timeline I've created. 5 years of proof that I'm Emma's father in every way that matters. "Here's what you need to understand," she says finally. "In family court, we have something called psychological parenthood. You've been Emma's primary caregiver. You've formed a parent-child bond. That matters. That matters a lot." Something in my chest loosens. But your wife's affair partner might now claim paternal rights to Emma. If Marcus decides he wants to play father to both children, the one on the way and the one you've been raising, this gets complicated. The thing in my chest tightens again. He wouldn't. You didn't think he'd sleep with your wife for a year either. Fair point. What do I do? Olivia looks at me the way I imagine she looks at her own kids when they need to hear something true. You document everything, every interaction, every conversation, every time you're there for Emma. You keep being her father, and you prepare for the possibility that this is going to get ugly. It's already ugly. It can always get uglier, she says. But here's what I can promise you. I've been doing this for 18 years, and I've seen courts choose the parent who shows up. You show up. Keep showing up. I stand to leave, and she stops me. "Daniel, one more thing. Your wife's affair partner. Does he have any history with Emma? Any relationship?" "He came to her 4th birthday party," I say, remembering. "He gave her a stuffed elephant. She called it Marcus Jr. for about a week before forgetting about it." Olivia writes something down. "That might actually help us. He's been present but peripheral. You've been present and central. Courts recognized the difference. Olivia looked at the evidence and said, "You're Emma's psychological parent, but Rachel's affair partner might now claim paternal rights." Marcus finds me 3 days later. I don't know how. Maybe Rachel told him. Maybe he hired someone. Maybe he just knows my patterns well enough. We were partners for 6 years before he decided to burn it all down. It's a coffee shop 6 blocks from the motel. I'm waiting for Emma's appointment with the child psychologist to finish, drinking burnt coffee and trying to read the news on my phone, when he slides into the chair across from me. "Danny," he says, like we're old friends. Like he didn't destroy my business and sleep with my wife and father, a child he knew wasn't mine. I don't say anything. "Look," he continues, "I know you're upset. I get it. But Rachel and I, what we have is real. It's not some sordid affair. We fell in love. While she was married to me. While she was in a marriage that wasn't working." He leans forward, elbows on the table. "Come on, man. You had to know. She hasn't been happy in years." The barista is watching us now. 2 men, voices rising, tension thickening the air. "I didn't come here to argue about Rachel," Marcus says. "I came here to talk about Emma." And there it is. "Emma's not part of this," I say. "Emma's exactly part of this. She's Rachel's daughter. Rachel is having my child. We're going to be a family, a real family. And that means what, Marcus?" He sits back and I see it. The calculation, the strategy. This is Marcus in a business meeting, Marcus closing a deal. It means Emma needs stability, consistency, one home, with her mother and her future sibling, not bouncing between houses because you can't let go. I'm her father. "You're not, though, are you?" He pulls out his phone, scrolls, turns it toward me. A text conversation with Rachel, recent, this morning. Rachel, "He won't give her back." Marcus, "I'll handle it." Rachel, "How?" Marcus, "He has no legal claim. Emma's not his blood. Once the baby comes, he'll realize he needs to step aside." I take a photo of his screen before he can pull it away. He looks annoyed, but not concerned. "You see how this goes?" Marcus says. "Rachel wants her daughter back. I want my future child to have a sister. You want, what? To play house with someone else's kid? To pretend you have a family when you don't?" The barista calls security. I don't blame her. "Here's what's going to happen," Marcus says, standing up, smoothing his jacket. "You're going to realize that Emma's not your blood, and now there's a baby who actually is mine. You're going to realize that you're the third wheel in a story that was never about you. And you're going to disappear, Dan, like you always do when things get hard." He leaves a business card on the table, his new company, the one he built with my clients. "Call me when you're ready to discuss this rationally," he says. Marcus leaned back and said, "Emma's not your blood, and now there's a baby who actually is mine. Time to disappear, Dan." Rachel calls that night. I answer. "Thank God," she says, and she sounds relieved, genuinely relieved. "Daniel, we need to talk, face to face, like adults." I'm listening. "Not over the phone. Tomorrow, the park by the house, noon, just us. Emma will be fine for an hour. Bring her if you want, but we need to talk." She's using her reasonable voice, her "let's work together" voice, the one she uses in business meetings when she needs to win someone over. I agree because I'm curious, because I want to see what story she's crafted, because Olivia told me to document everything, and a meeting in a public park with witnesses is as documented as it gets. I bring the recording device, the one Olivia suggested. "Legal in our state," she said. "Single-party consent." Rachel is already there when we arrive, sitting on a bench under the oak tree where I proposed to her 7 years ago. She chose this spot on purpose. I see the strategy. Emma runs to her immediately. "Mommy!" Rachel hugs her, cries into her hair. Real tears. I'll give her that. They're real. "I've missed you so much, baby girl." "We're on an adventure," Emma tells her. "We had pancakes every day and stayed in a motel with a weird TV, and Daniel let me stay up late." "That sounds wonderful." Rachel looks at me over Emma's head. Can you go play on the swings for a minute, sweetie? Mommy needs to talk to Daniel. Emma runs off, and Rachel pats the bench next to her. I sit. I turn on the recorder in my pocket. I don't know where to start, Rachel says. The beginning is traditional. Don't be like that, please. She takes a breath. I made a mistake, a huge mistake, with Marcus. I got caught up in something that felt exciting and new, and I lost sight of what matters, of you, of our family. You're pregnant with his child. I am. She puts her hand on her stomach, still flat, still months away from showing. And I know that hurts you. I know you feel betrayed. But Daniel, we can work through this. We've worked through hard things before. Have we? Your depression after your dad died. My miscarriage. The year we almost went bankrupt. We got through all of it together. She's good. I'll give her that. She's very good. We can get through this too, she continues. I'll end things with Marcus, completely. The baby. We can raise the baby. You've always wanted more children. This could be our chance. Our chance. Yes. She takes my hand. Hers is warm, familiar. 7 years of holding this hand. I love you, Daniel. I made a terrible mistake, but I love you. And Emma needs both of us. She needs her family intact. Behind her, on the playground, Emma is going down the slide, laughing, unaware that her world is being negotiated on a park bench. Marcus doesn't matter, Rachel says. What matters is us, our vows. Remember? We don't leave, no matter what. We don't leave. She's using my own words against me, the cocktail napkin, the promise I made. I need you to come home, she continues. Emma needs her routine back, her school, her friends, her room. This isn't fair to her, Daniel. Whatever you're angry about, she shouldn't suffer. It's a good speech, rehearsed, hitting all the right notes, appealing to my guilt, my love for Emma, my tendency to avoid conflict, to smooth things over, to understand. I play the recording. My phone, speaker on, Rachel's voice clear and sharp. He's too weak to leave. He never has been. That's why this works, Marcus. I can have both. The security with Daniel and the passion with you. He'll forgive me. He always does. The recording is from last week. Rachel at lunch with Marcus, thinking I was in meetings all day. But I'd come home early, and she'd left her tablet open, FaceTime call running, speakers on. Rachel's face goes white. You can't, that's not legal to record in a one-party consent state, I say. Olivia checked. Olivia, my lawyer. She stands up, shaking. You're recording this right now, aren't you? This whole thing. You manipulated me into telling the truth? No, Rachel, you manipulated yourself. The courts won't care about some recording. Emma is my daughter, mine. You have no legal right to her. You're not her father. I've been her father for 5 years. Biology doesn't lie, Daniel. She's crying now, but these tears are different. Angry, cornered. You want to take her from me, her own mother, because you can't handle that I fell in love with someone else? Emma is walking back toward us. She senses the tension, slowing down, uncertain. Here's what's going to happen, Rachel says, voice low. You're going to give Emma back to me right now, and we're going to figure this out like adults. Or I will call the police and tell them you kidnapped my daughter. Call them, I say. I'll wait. She doesn't call. She can't. Because I haven't kidnapped anyone. And she knows it. I'm on every legal document as Emma's guardian. The only thing missing is the adoption papers we never filed. Emma reaches us, sensing the storm. Are you fighting? She asks quietly. No, baby, Rachel says automatically. We're just talking. But Emma knows. Children always know. She cried beautifully until I played the recording of her telling Marcus last week. Daniel's too weak to leave. He never has been. The child psychologist's office has toys, good ones, a dollhouse, building blocks, art supplies. Emma goes straight for the crayons while Dr. Lynn talks to me in the corner. She's processing, Dr. Lin says. Children her age don't have the vocabulary for complex emotions, so they express them through play and questions. What kind of questions? The ones you can't answer, the ones that don't have good answers. Emma has created something she calls a worry jar, Dr. Lin's idea. When Emma has a worry too big to say out loud, she writes it on a piece of paper and puts it in the jar. Later, when she's ready, we can take them out and talk about them. The jar is already half full. I don't read them. Not yet. That feels like a violation of something sacred. But Emma, in that way children have, of knowing when adults need them to be braver than they should have to be, pulls one out herself. Can you read it? She asks Dr. Lin. Dr. Lin unfolds the paper. I see her face change. Emma wrote, "Did Mommy stop loving us, or just you?" The room gets very quiet. Emma is coloring now, carefully staying inside the lines of a picture of a house. Two versions of the same house. One labeled old house. One labeled new apartment. Emma, Dr. Lin says gently, can you tell me about your worry? Emma doesn't look up from her coloring. Oliver at school said his daddy left because he didn't love Oliver's mommy anymore. But he still loves Oliver. He comes every Saturday. And you're wondering if your mommy stopped loving Daniel but still loves you. Uh-huh. Emma switches to a purple crayon. Because if she stopped loving Daniel, maybe she'll stop loving me too. Because Daniel is nicer than me, and he never makes messes, and he always remembers to say please. I can't breathe. I physically cannot get air into my lungs. Emma, I manage. You're not. She looks up at me, and her eyes are too old, too understanding. It's okay if she stops, Emma says. I have you. You won't leave. You promised. If you've ever had to explain adult betrayal to a child's innocent question, you know there's no good answer, only the least damaging one. Comment, I tried, if you've been there. Dr. Lin steps in, saving me. Emma, sometimes adults make choices that have nothing to do with children. Nothing you did made this happen, and nothing you do can change what adults decide. But you know what doesn't change? What? The people who show up. The people who stay. That's how you know who really loves you. Not by what they say, but by what they do. Emma considers this, purple crayon hovering. Daniel always shows up. He does. So he loves me? What do you think? Emma looks at me. Yeah, he loves me. And then she goes back to coloring, like she hasn't just broken my heart and put it back together in the same breath. In the car afterward, Emma is quiet. Then, did Mommy stop loving us, or just you? Your mommy loves you very much, I say, which is true and also not an answer. But not enough to stay? She didn't leave, Em. I did. Because she hurt you? Yeah, because she hurt me. Hurt is the reason people leave, Emma says, matter of fact. Mrs. Patterson told us. We leave when things hurt too much to stay. 5 years old and already understanding what took me 43 years to learn. Emma held up her drawing and asked, did Mommy stop loving us or just you? The paternity test kit arrives 2 days later. Olivia arranged it. Certified, legal, admissible in court. It's a simple thing. A cotton swab, a tube, instructions printed in 4 languages. Emma doesn't understand why we're doing it. She just opens her mouth when I ask and lets me swab her cheek. Thinks it's a game. Are we looking for germs? She asks. Something like that. Can we get ice cream after? We can get ice cream after. The envelope goes in the mail the same day. 2 to 3 weeks for results, the paperwork says. 2 to 3 weeks of waiting to have science confirm what my heart already knows. Emma is mine in every way except the one that courts care about. Rachel calls 17 times the day the test is ordered. I don't answer. She knows. Somehow, she knows. The texts come instead. This is insane. You're being cruel. Emma is my daughter. No test is going to change that. Marcus is furious. He's getting his own lawyer. That last one is interesting. Marcus is getting his own lawyer, not we're getting a lawyer. His own. I forward the text to Olivia. She responds in 3 minutes. Cracks forming. Keep documentation updated. The 2 weeks feel like 2 years. Emma and I settle into a routine at the motel that's somehow more stable than our life at home ever was. Breakfast at the diner, school drop-off, pick-up, homework at the table by the window, dinner, bath, stories, sleep. Simple, predictable, safe. Emma stops asking when we're going home. This is home now. The envelope arrives on what would have been our 7th wedding anniversary. I recognize it immediately. The certified mail logo, the lab's return address. I open it alone in the parking lot while Emma is at school. Inside, official letterhead, dense text, legal language, and one number that matters. Probability of paternity, 0.0%. 0, absolute, scientific fact. Emma is not my blood. I already knew this. I've known it for 5 years. But seeing it typed out, certified, stamped, makes it real in a way that feels like loss and relief at the same time. I text Olivia. Results are in. She responds, good. Keep the original safe. We'll need it. The envelope arrived on what would have been our 7th wedding anniversary. Inside, probability of paternity, 0.00%. The second envelope arrives 3 days later. Not certified mail this time. Just regular post with Marcus's business address in the corner. Inside, a single printed email thread. Rachel to Marcus, dated 2 months ago. I can't keep doing this. Daniel suspects something. He's been quiet lately, watching. Marcus to Rachel. Let him suspect. What's he going to do? He won't leave. He's too invested in playing dad to Emma. That's his weakness. He cares more about her than himself. Rachel to Marcus. But what if he does leave? What if he takes Emma? Marcus to Rachel. Then we have the baby, and Emma comes back to you eventually. Courts always side with biological mothers. I'm not interested in raising someone else's kid, Rachel. I thought I made that clear. You said Daniel would keep Emma and we'd be free. Rachel to Marcus. You never wanted Emma. Marcus to Rachel. I want you and our child. Emma was part of the package I tolerated, but if Daniel wants to play dad, let him. Saves us the hassle. There's a note paper clipped to the printout. Handwritten. Female handwriting. He doesn't deserve you, and Emma doesn't deserve him. Rachel's sister Jen. The same Jen who was at our wedding, who held Emma at her baptism, who I thought was our friend. I call Olivia. He never wanted Emma, I tell her. It's in writing. Rachel expected me to keep her so they could start fresh. Bring me everything, Olivia says. We're filing for emergency custody. Today. Marcus told Rachel, I never agreed to play dad. You said Daniel would keep Emma and we'd be free. The courthouse is nothing like TV makes it seem. No dramatic music, no wood paneling, just fluorescent lights, beige walls, and the smell of industrial floor cleaner mixed with anxiety. Judge Margaret Cordova presides, 60-something, gray hair pulled back, reading glasses on a chain. She's been doing family law for 30 years, according to Olivia. She's seen everything, believes nothing, trusts only evidence. Good. I'm in a suit I haven't worn since my father's funeral. Emma is with a court-appointed supervisor in a room down the hall, toys and books, and someone trained to keep 5-year-olds distracted while adults decide their futures. Rachel sits across the aisle with her lawyer, Martin Shepard. Expensive suit, shark eyes, the kind of attorney who bills by the breath. Marcus isn't here. Olivia said he wouldn't be. Not yet. This is about Emma, not the affair. They'll keep it clinical, strategic. Mr. Hayes, Judge Cordova says, I've reviewed the emergency petition. You're seeking full legal custody of a child to whom you have no biological relationship and no formal adoption papers. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. And you've been acting as this child's parent for 5 years, since she was 6 months old. Ms. Hayes, the judge turns to Rachel. Is there a dispute about Mr. Hayes' involvement in your daughter's life? Rachel's lawyer stands. Your Honor, my client acknowledges that Mr. Hayes has been present in Emma's life. However, presence does not equal legal standing. Mr. Hayes is not Emma's biological father. He has no adoption decree. He is, in the eyes of the law, a step-parent who chose to leave the marital home with a child who is not his. I see, Judge Cordova makes a note. Mr. Hayes, who is Emma's biological father? I don't know, Your Honor. He's not involved. Never has been. And you married Ms. Hayes when Emma was 6 months old. I've been the only father Emma has ever known. Mrs. Hayes, the judge says, is this accurate? Rachel stands. She's dressed carefully. Modest dress, minimal makeup, the picture of concerned motherhood. Daniel has been wonderful with Emma. I've never disputed that, but he left. He took my daughter in the middle of the night without discussion, without warning, and he's keeping her from me, from her mother. Her voice cracks on the last word, perfectly timed. Mr. Hayes, Judge Cordova says, why did you leave? And here it is. The moment where I tell a stranger in a black robe that my wife was pregnant with another man's child, that the affair had been going on for nearly a year, that I found the evidence and made a choice to protect Emma from a home built on lies. Olivia stands. Your Honor, if I may, we have substantial documentation of Mrs. Hayes' extramarital affair, including the pregnancy that precipitated my client's departure. We also have evidence that Mrs. Hayes and her affair partner explicitly discussed leaving Emma with Mr. Hayes so they could start fresh. Rachel's lawyer objects. Hearsay and irrelevant to custody. It's directly relevant, Olivia counters. It speaks to Mrs. Hayes' priorities and Mr. Hayes' protective response. Judge Cordova holds up a hand. I'll allow it. But let's keep this focused on the child's best interests, not marital grievances. The next 2 hours are a parade of evidence. Emma's kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Patterson, testifies via video call. Daniel is at every parent-teacher conference, every school event. He volunteers in the classroom. Last month, when Emma had a meltdown about a spelling test, he was the one I called. He came within 15 minutes. And Mrs. Hayes? Olivia asks. I've met her twice, once at the beginning of the year, once at the winter concert. Emma's pediatrician, Dr. Rashid, testifies next. Mr. Hayes is listed as the primary contact. He's at every well visit, every vaccination, every sick appointment. Last year, when Emma had pneumonia, he slept in the hospital chair for 3 nights. My employer submits a letter. 5 years of family leave documentation, Emma's name on my health insurance from day one, the flexible schedule they granted me so I could do school drop-offs and pickups. Olivia presents the photo timeline. 5 years, hundreds of images. Every birthday, every first day of school, every Halloween costume. In every photo, I'm there. In most of them, Rachel isn't. Your Honor, Olivia says, psychological parenthood is established through consistent caregiving, emotional bonding, and the child's reliance on that relationship. Daniel Hayes has been Emma's psychological parent since infancy. The law recognizes this bond as valid and enforceable. Rachel's lawyer counters with his own parade. Rachel's mother testifying that Rachel is a devoted parent, that I manipulated the situation. Rachel's OB/GYN confirming the pregnancy. A therapist Rachel apparently started seeing 3 weeks ago, testifying about her anxiety and depression since I took Emma. Mrs. Hayes is the biological mother, Shepard argues. She has legal custody. She has always had legal custody. Mr. Hayes, however well-intentioned, has no legal standing. He's a step-parent, and in this state, step-parents have no automatic rights to custody or visitation upon dissolution of marriage. Judge Cordova looks tired. We'll reconvene tomorrow. I want to review the documentation overnight, and I want to speak with Emma. Your Honor, Rachel's lawyer says quickly, Emma is 5 years old. She's not competent to... I'm aware of how old she is, counselor. I'm not asking her to testify. But I will be speaking with her, along with the guardian ad litem, to understand her wishes and needs. We reconvene at 9 a.m. The gavel comes down. In the hallway, Olivia pulls me aside. That went well. It didn't feel like it went well. Trust me, Cordova's a by-the-book judge, but she has a soft spot for parental consistency. The photo timeline was strong. The teacher's testimony was strong. Tomorrow, we bring it home. How? Emma's voice, Olivia says. Not testimony, but her words. The guardian ad litem has been spending time with her. She's prepared something. What kind of something? The kind that wins cases. Rachel's lawyer stood and said, Mr. Hayes has no legal standing. He's a stranger to this child by law. I don't sleep that night. Can't. I lie in the motel bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to Emma breathe in the bed next to mine. And I think about tomorrow, about a judge deciding if I'm allowed to keep being Emma's father, about the possibility that I could lose her, that Rachel could take her back to a house that's not a home, to a life where Marcus is the new father figure, to a family built on the ruins of everything we were. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzes, a text from a number I don't recognize. You should know what you're fighting for. An attachment, a video file. I almost don't open it, but curiosity, or maybe masochism, wins. It's security footage, a restaurant, Rachel and Marcus at a corner table. The timestamp says 3 days ago. The audio is muffled but readable with headphones. Marcus, when do we tell the judge about us? Rachel, we don't. It's not relevant. Marcus, the hell it isn't. I'm the father of your child. I have rights. Rachel, to the baby, yes, not to Emma. Marcus, I don't want Emma. Silence, long enough that I think the video might have frozen. Rachel, what? Marcus, you heard me. She's not mine. She's Daniel's problem now. The whole point was that he'd keep her and we'd be free to start over with our kid. Rachel, you said you'd be there for both children. Marcus laughs. It's an ugly sound. I said what you needed to hear. Come on, Rachel. You know me. I'm not interested in playing dad to someone else's kid, especially not when her actual father is perfectly willing to do it. Rachel, Daniel isn't her father. Marcus, biology says otherwise. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. Biology says nobody's her father. But Daniel acts like he is, and that's close enough. Let him have her. We get the baby, the fresh start, and none of the baggage. The video ends. Another text. She needs to know who she's fighting for, and who's fighting for her. Jen, Rachel's sister, the same one who sent the emails. I forward it to Olivia with a single word. Tomorrow? She responds immediately, despite the hour. Absolutely tomorrow. Day 2 of the hearing starts differently. Judge Cordova has someone with her. A woman in her 30s, kind eyes, carrying a folder. This is Amanda Chen, the judge says. She's the guardian ad litem assigned to Emma's case. She spent the last 2 weeks with Emma, observing, talking, playing. Ms. Chen, what have you found? Amanda stands. Your Honor, Emma is a bright, emotionally healthy child. She's articulate for her age and has a clear understanding of her family's situation. She knows her mother and Daniel are separated. She knows she's living in a motel. She knows things have changed. And her wishes? Emma doesn't use the word wish when talking about custody. She uses the word need. She says she needs Daniel because he stays. She says she's scared her mother will stop loving her, like she stopped loving Daniel. Rachel makes a sound, small, wounded. Emma has written something, Amanda continues. With my help, she asked me to read it to the court. She opens the folder, inside a piece of paper, lined notebook paper, the kind from elementary school. Emma's handwriting, large and careful. Amanda reads, Dear Judge, I don't understand all the words the lawyers use, but I know Daniel is my dad because he makes my lunch with a note that says I'm brave. He stays when I'm sick. He didn't leave even when Mommy did. Mrs. Patterson says families are people who take care of each other. Daniel takes care of me. He helps with my homework even when it's hard. He doesn't get mad when I spill. He reads 3 stories at bedtime, not just one. I love my mommy. But I need my dad. Please don't take him away like Mommy did. Love, Emma P.S. I drew you a picture. Amanda holds up the drawing. It's been entered into evidence, protected in a plastic sleeve. It's a family. 3 stick figures holding hands. 1 tall, 1 small, 1 medium. Daniel, Emma, and the guardian, ad litem herself, apparently. Above them, in rainbow crayon, my people who stay. The courtroom is silent. Judge Cordova removes her glasses, cleans them, takes longer than necessary. Mrs. Hayes, she says finally, do you have a response? Rachel's lawyer stands. Your Honor, this is clearly coached. I'm asking Mrs. Hayes. Rachel stands. She's crying now. Real tears this time, not strategic ones. I never left, she says. I've been there. I've been her mother. I carried her. I gave birth to her. You chose Marcus, I say, and I don't mean to say it out loud, but it's out there now. Mr. Hayes, Judge Cordova warns, I'm sorry, Your Honor, but it's true. She chose Marcus, over me, over Emma, over the family we built, and now she wants Emma back because it looks bad, because Marcus doesn't want her, because she's realizing what she threw away. That's not, Rachel starts. Your Honor, Olivia interrupts. We have one more piece of evidence, submitted this morning, security footage from 3 days ago. The video plays on the courtroom screen. Rachel and Marcus, his words echoing in the sterile air. I'm not interested in playing dad to someone else's kid. Let him have her. We get the baby, the fresh start, and none of the baggage. Rachel's face goes white, then red, then something beyond color. You recorded us, she whispers. Your sister sent it, I say. She thought I should know who I was fighting. Marcus isn't in the courtroom, but his presence is everywhere. The judge removed her glasses and read aloud. Please don't take him away like Mommy did. The recess is brief, 15 minutes while Judge Cordova reviews the video footage, while lawyers huddle, while Rachel sits in the hallway with her head in her hands. When we reconvene, Rachel's lawyer stands. Your Honor, my client would like to address the court. Judge Cordova nods. Rachel takes the stand. Her own lawyer looks nervous. This wasn't planned. I made mistakes, Rachel begins. Her voice is shaking. I had an affair. I got pregnant. I thought I could have everything. Marcus and Daniel and Emma and the baby. I thought Daniel would understand because he always understands. Because he's patient and kind and he loves Emma so much. Mrs. Hayes? Her lawyer tries. No, Rachel says. I need to say this. I chose Marcus. I did. I chose the excitement over the stability. I chose the affair over my marriage. And I thought, God, I actually thought that Daniel would just stay, that he'd keep Emma, keep being her father, and I could have my new life with Marcus. The courtroom is frozen. But Marcus doesn't want Emma, Rachel continues. He made that clear, and I didn't want to believe it because that would mean I'd destroyed everything for nothing, that I'd lost my husband and potentially my daughter for a man who only wants the parts of me that are convenient. Mrs. Hayes, Judge Cordova says gently, are you saying you don't wish to pursue custody? I'm saying I don't know what I'm saying. Rachel is sobbing now, full, ugly crying. I love Emma, I do, but Daniel is her father. He's been her father since she was a baby. He's the one she runs to when she's scared. He's the one who knows how she likes her sandwiches cut. He's the one who stayed. She looks at me, finally looks at me. I didn't think you had it in you, she says, to actually leave. You were supposed to be the one constant thing. The one thing I could count on to always be there, no matter what I did. And when you actually left, I realized I had been counting on your weakness. I'd been betting on you loving Emma more than you loved yourself. And I do, I say quietly. I know that's why you left. To save her from learning that love is supposed to hurt, that betrayal is acceptable, that we don't leave only applies to one person. The words hang in the air. Our wedding vow. The promise I kept, and she didn't. Your Honor, Rachel says, turning to the judge, I'm not going to fight this. Daniel should have custody, full legal custody. Emma needs him more than she needs me right now. Maybe more than she ever needed me. Her lawyer is frantically writing notes, probably documenting his client's complete meltdown. And when the baby comes, Judge Cordova asks, the baby will have Marcus, or not. I don't know anymore. But Emma has Daniel, and that's what matters. Rachel under oath whispered, I thought Daniel would keep Emma so Marcus and I could start fresh. I didn't think he had it in him to actually leave. 6 months later, different courthouse, different judge, different purpose entirely. Adoption court is gentler than custody court. The lighting is warmer. There are tissues on every table, but for happy tears, not desperate ones. Emma sits between Olivia and me, swinging her legs, dressed in the purple dress she picked out herself. Mr. Hops is in her lap. She insisted. Judge Martinez is younger than Cordova, with a smile that reaches his eyes. Emma, he says, do you understand what we're doing here today? Making Daniel my real dad, Emma says matter-of-factly. That's right. How do you feel about that? Good. He's already my real dad. We're just making it official so everyone knows. The judge looks at me. Mr. Hayes, you understand that adoption is permanent? That Emma will legally be your daughter in every sense? I understand, Your Honor. And Emma will take your last name? If she wants to. I want to, Emma says. Emma Hayes sounds good. The paperwork is signed. All of it. Documents that say what has always been true. Emma is mine, and I am hers. The judge stamps the final page. Congratulations! Emma, you now have a father who chose you, and Mr. Hayes, you have a daughter who chose you right back. In the hallway afterward, Emma tugs my sleeve. Can we go to the park? She asks. The one with the swings? Any park you want. The one where you and Mommy used to go. We haven't been back there since the custody hearing, but Emma's asking, and I won't say no to her today. It's autumn now. The leaves are turning. The oak tree where I proposed to Rachel 7 years ago is shedding gold. Emma runs to the swings. I push her higher and higher, listening to her laugh. My phone buzzes, a text from Rachel. Congratulations on the adoption. She's lucky to have you. So was I once. I don't respond. There's nothing left to say. Another text from Jen this time. Marcus left her last week. Baby's due in a month. She's alone. Thought you should know. I feel something. Not satisfaction, not vindication, just sad. For Rachel, for the baby coming into a broken situation, for the choices we all make and can't unmake. But mostly, I feel grateful. Emma runs back to me, breathless. Can we get ice cream? We can get ice cream. Can we go home after? Home, our apartment, the one bedroom where Emma sleeps in the actual bedroom, and I take the pull-out couch, the place with the weird kitchen and the neighbor who plays saxophone badly, and the landlord who's trying to increase the rent. Home. Yeah, Em, we can go home. She takes my hand, small fingers in mine, trust in physical form. Daniel, she says, yeah? You kept your promise. What promise? That you wouldn't leave, like the note said. I wish Daniel could be my real dad forever, because he stays. You stayed. My throat closes. I promised I would. I manage. I know. She swings our hands between us. That's why I picked you. We stop by the jeweler on the way home, The one who made our wedding ring 7 years ago. I have a project, I tell him. He melts down the ring, the white gold that promised forever to the wrong person. He reforms it into something new, something better, a bracelet, small, child-sized, with an engraving on the inside. You are chosen, always. Dad. That night, I give it to Emma. She turns it over in her hands, studying the inscription. What's chosen mean? She asks. It means I picked you, not because I had to, because I wanted to, because you're mine. And I'm yours? Forever. She puts it on. It's slightly too big. She'll grow into it. Daniel, she says, already half asleep. Mr. Hops tucked under her arm. Yeah, Em? Can I call you Dad now? Like, for real? You've always called me that. I know, but now it's official, like on the papers. Yeah, sweetheart. You can call me Dad. Okay, good night, Dad. Good night, Emma. She's asleep in minutes. I sit in the chair by her bed, watching her breathe, watching the bracelet catch the light from the street lamp outside. The gold that promised forever to the wrong person now promises always to the right one. If you found your real family in unexpected places, the ones who stayed when blood walked away, share your story below. Because Emma taught me something. Home isn't where you're born. It's where someone chooses you every single day. And if this story reminded you that loyalty should run both ways, send it to someone who needs to hear that it's okay to leave when staying costs your soul. We don't leave the people who deserve us. We stay. Emma looked up at me and said, You kept your promise, Dad. You didn't leave.